Welcome back to the Bridging the Gap show, where I bring you some of the most incredible individuals on the planet who have bridged the gap in one way or another. Today, I am joined by none other than one of my top students, my mentee, Mr. Parsa. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, bro. I'm super excited.
Likewise, all the way from Vancouver, okay? He flew down, I invited him down. We just got done spending time with Andy Elliott, Bradley. We were able to connect with him. We're gonna get him on the show, dropping bombs with Bradley. But the reason I wanted to have you on the show is that you were on the show probably about, was it 3-4 months ago?
December.
Yeah, December. And so
mid-December.
And so at the time I was mentoring you, I was coaching you, you were in my brotherhood. And then when I came out with my Freedom Closer Blueprint, you were kind of figuring out if you should start your own business or become a remote like Freedom Closer.
Yeah.
Right. And so walk me through like what your decision-making process was. And then in the last month, just to drop some numbers real quick, flex on the brokies out there.
Flexing on the broke.
What'd you collect as far as revenue or cash collected last month? First month as a setter.
Yeah, I'll tell the whole story. So first when I met Bridger, it was in December.
Okay.
And I wanted to start my own agency because I thought, oh yeah, all these guys, Iman Gaji, all these gurus, they say the best way to make your 10K is by becoming a business owner. And it's good for your ego too, right? You can put it in your Instagram bio that I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, even though you're not making money. That's what most people do, you know?
It's true.
It's good for your ego. But the reality is it's way harder than you think, especially when you don't have any skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
So back in December, I was trying to let the whole agency thing going. Mm-hmm. And boy, it got tough. So I remember I went to London in the beginning of January and I texted you, I'm like, bro, this is not going good. I was not in a good place, both mentally and just business-wise.
Yeah.
You know? So you told me, bro, just trust me and come work on your sales. You can eventually go work for someone, like just like what I did. And all these other like successful people that we know, Brian, for example, he worked for Dean Graziosi in the beginning. He learned the skill sets. He made money. Then he went off and started his own thing. So guys, even if you want to start your own marketing agency in the future, it's better to actually start sales, learn how the system works, work with someone that's already doing what you want to do in the future and learn from them while also getting paid. So we transferred to the whole sales thing and you referred me to Brian. Shout out to Brian at spend.com. It's a 7-figure YouTube ads agency. They work with all these guys, Cole Gordon, Jeremy Miner, Jordan Belfort, to work with them as a setter for their sales team. And last month, my first month, we did around close to 200K Canadian in revenue, cash collected. And I made around 8K first month.
Wow, first month.
Canadian.
That's crazy, dude. And did you had some doubts at the beginning, right? On if it was for you, if it was going to work.
Yeah.
What were some of the things you doubted in the beginning?
Okay. First of all, guys, English isn't even my first language. I mean, if I'm doing 8K, it's just like you got to find a good mentor and put in the work. That's it. Because it's not even my first language and I'm doing good.
Yeah, you're doing phone sales.
I'm doing phone sales. It's not even on Zoom.
It's not even DM setting.
Wait for me to get on
Not
Zoom,
even
bro.
DM setting. This is legit phone sales.
They cold call. People always think I'm these scammers that call them. Like, bro, I get yelled at so many times.
You get yelled at. Guys, if Parsa can do it, he barely even speaks English.
Yeah.
Guys, you can definitely do it.
Barely?
I know.
It's my second language. I have
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. You're not illiterate. No, but you do have a heavy accent, right? And that's one of the things I told you. Like Parsa.
Guys, on my first coaching call with Bridger, he's like, "Dude, we gotta work on your English."
I keep it real, man. I'm like Brad Lee, man. I like to keep it real, dude.
That's good.
The real Bridger Rogers. It was helpful, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm working on it.
You've gotten better.
I've gotten better. I'm gonna get better.
You're gonna get better.
Like I told you, I'm gonna get to 10, 15, 20K this year.
100%.
As a closer.
Let's go. He's only setting right now, right? Because I teach in my program, it's a 4-step evolution, right?
Yeah.
You eventually want to become a business owner. That's step 4. If you're watching this right now, you want to be a business owner and you haven't mastered at least 1 or 2 high income skills, really 3 high income skills, the chances you're actually going to succeed in business are literally 9%.
Yeah.
The statistics show that 91% of businesses fail in the first 2 years. Why? Well, there's two reasons. Number one is cash flow. Because people are starting businesses and trying to make money, which when you start a business, your goal is not to make money. Your goal is to solve a customer's problems and break even for the first couple of years until you have a product market fit. Once you crack that code, then you can systematize it and scale. And eventually, maybe after 3, 4, 5 years, you can really start to rake in some cash. But people get it all wrong. And that's one of the things that I love about you is you were humble and you were willing to come in and kind of follow the 4-step process we teach.
And bro, sales is communicating to people that you can solve their problem. So even if you have a business and you can solve people's problem, but you cannot communicate it to them. So you need to know sales. Even if you know how to solve people's problem, you need to know how to communicate it to them.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. Sales is the communication of certainty, right?
Exactly.
It's the transfer of certainty, and you're transferring certainty that you can solve their problem. So that's super cool to hear, man. So, dude, what were you kind of like worried about? Because you did have some resistance in becoming a setter and a closer. Like, what were you worried about, and what did you find out after getting started with it?
So even with some of the guys, new guys that are in the program, I see some of them, they say, I'm an introvert. Dude. Like, I'm not going to be good at sales because I'm an introvert. Well, like...
Is that true?
What? No, bro. No, like, I don't identify... First of all, I would just say don't label yourself as an introvert and as an extrovert. It's like this thing that you were born with, you cannot change. Even if you're an introverted guy... Actually, like, some of the best sales guys are introverted because they can actually listen to you. People understand them. So it doesn't have anything to do whether you're an introvert and an extrovert. You can develop your own style. The archetypes that you teach.
Yeah, the sales archetypes,
It's this whole thing. Like, you're more on the extroverted side. But I'm even like in the middle. I'm not that extroverted. I'm not that introverted. But we have like some guys that are crushing it and they're introverts.
They're extreme introverts. Some people will label them even as nerds.
Yeah.
Right. So pretty much anyone can do this, right? Introverted, extroverted, ambiverted, right? Doesn't matter if you barely speak English, if you speak great English, right? Obviously, if you speak better English, it's going to help. It's going to help, but you can still do it though. I mean, Parsa made 8,000 last month, right? We'll throw up the pay stubs here. So then what, cause you were at the time cause how old are you, Parsa?
I'm 20, just turned 21.
Just turned 20. Yeah. You're 20 when you joined the program and, you were living at home, right? You still living at home?
I'm still living at home.
Still living at home, which is smart, by the way. I do recommend living at home. I did the same thing, stack cash. And then once you have a consistent high income skill, then you can, move out. And that's that's what I teach. Like that's the system that I teach for financial freedom in the program, right? Parsa was asking me, and it's actually in one of our vlogs. We did a little walking back from church. I told him like how to diversify his income as he makes money to invest. But getting back on the topic, which is, your story, right? Your evolution, right? You were living at home, right? Were you doing car sales?
Yeah. So I knew sales was important. I was following all these guys, Grant Cardone, even Andrew Tate. They all say sales is the most important. Even Ty Lopez, he says that like king skill is the sales. Because that's basically everything. And not even in money, even in your relationship with your friends. Like, like you're going to sell me on where to go tonight. You're going to sell that girl you like to go on a date with you. It's all sales and communication and persuading people. But it's mostly communication, not even persuading people.
Yeah.
So I always knew sales was good. So I said, what should I do? I went into car sales. But man, let me just tell you, that's really not sales. Because you don't really learn how to discover people's problem, help them. And at least it wasn't fulfilling for me. Because I was selling Jeeps and dude, I won't even buy a Jeep.
Yeah, Parsa broke one of the first rules of my program, which is never sell something that you don't believe in. And that's one of the reasons why you hit me up. You're like, dude, I love your conviction. You're passionate. Dude, why did you decide to work with me, right? Out of all the mentors, all the coaches you could work with, why Bridger Rogers?
Yeah. First of all, bro, I just loved your energy. I know we're going to get along. And I was following you from Kino. The second thing is that you actually walk the talk. You have a good physique. You have the whole life. You don't want to follow a mentor that's only good at one thing because you're going to be like them. You're going to become like them. I knew you had the relationships down. You had the money down. You had the body down. You had everything down. So I knew you're a guy I want to be next to, close to. Third thing was that in sales, some of the guys, they sell one car, they started coaching it. You were actually running Kino Body's team. You had lots of sales experience before. So you had all of these things. Check the boxes off. So when I talked to you, I knew that was the right thing for me to do. And I got into some fights with my dad, bro. Because if you remember, I maxed out my credit card.
Wow.
And then I went to my dad, I'm like, Dad, I want to sell my car. Because I knew if you want to go to the next level, you got to invest in yourself. And another thing we learned in the mastermind this weekend with Andy and Bradley, they were saying you need to become who you want your client to be. So if I expect people in the future to pay me $5,000 to work with me as a client, I should pay someone $5,000 to work with them as a client. If you expect someone to pay you $5,000, you should pay $5,000 to someone.
100%.
So I knew the best investment I can do wasn't to buy Bitcoin and put it in S&P 500. It was to put it into myself. I put 5K into myself, made 8K in the first week.
Wow.
So no brainer. But I got into, back to my dad's story. Man, I went to my dad. I'm like, I want to sell my car to pay off my credit card debt. We had this huge fight. I mean, bro, still to this day, until I showed him how much money I made, he wasn't believing me. Like, I knew. So, you know, when you close people, you get the paycheck after 2 weeks. So, like, we got 27K paid in full. I made like 1.4K that night. I went to my dad. I'm like, Baba, it's what we call it in Farsi. I said, Baba, I made like 1.5K today. And that's like 2K Canadian just today. I was like, oh, have you got paid yet? Because he was a
He's a doubter.
Yeah, no, but he was a businessman. And like lots of people, you know, in the business, like in the
say they do, but they don't
they're
actually.
gonna pay. They don't actually do. And he thought I was just like telling it to him to make him calm down. He's like, have you got the money in your bank account? I'm like, no. He's like, Parsa, never count on the money that's not in your bank account. Never get. But when I got the money in my bank account, I'm like, what now, man? What?
Yeah. What do you say, Baba? No.
Yeah, Baba.
Baba?
Yeah.
Hey, Baba. What do you think about this, huh?
Yeah.
What did your dad think when he saw the money was real?
Man,
from Freedom Closing.
Bro, you can feel it. So I dropped out of university. Let's go in our dad's head for a second. I dropped out of university. He moved to Canada. He left his whole business and everything in Iran. He moved to Canada for me. So I have a good future, right? I turned 21, 18, whatever. I'm like, no, I don't want to go to university. Then I go get a job in car sales. That's not the best thing. But it's like, at least he got a job. And then I'm like, no, I don't want to work in car sales. I actually want to sell my car instead of selling other people's car. I want to sell my own car and give this like 23-year-old guy on the internet so I can learn how to do sales on the phone. And to his like, he's 55 years old. He's like, whoa. I did all of these things for this guy. And he gets like stressed. Like he was talking to me. He's like, I'm just worried about your future. You know?
I get it.
Yeah. When he sees that money, when he sees that you're actually learning something, you're actually doing good. And he feels the difference in you because it's not just the money. You become another person. Your confidence goes up. The way you carry yourself goes up. The way you communicate gets better. So you feel that weight off his shoulder. That's what I felt with my dad. I felt the weight off his shoulder.
I love that. And when you and I chatted on the phone and you were considering moving forward, you ended up moving forward.
Yeah.
Right. How did you find the confidence to do so without the support of your father?
That's a good question. You know, I thought, is my dad always going to be supporting me? You know, sometimes you got to ask yourself the hard questions. My dad is 55 years old now. Maybe he's not here 30 years, God forbid, but it's a reality, you know? So I can't always rely on my dad's support. I got to stand up on my own 2 feet, you know? And sometimes, like, if you read I like to read biographies. And if you read lots of successful people, no one supported them. But they believed, they had a vision in their mind. And they followed what they believed in, you know? So I said, I know this is the right thing to do. Am I going to let my dad hold me back? Because if he did, even if I did it because of my dad, in 5 years from now on, if I didn't do anything, I would have some resentment towards my dad. Oh, Dad, look, I wanted to do that back in 2024. You said don't do it. If I did that, I could be, you know?
Yeah. Totally. You could be, instead of being one of the top success stories, one of the first people to hit 8,000 a month in the program, instead, you would have been someone who literally was like, well, I'm going to listen to my dad. I'm going to play it safe. You've been working a dead end job, living a boring life. And you would have looked at the people in the program that are crushing it, whoever would have taken your place, and you would have had that resentment. So that's really, really powerful, man. Do you have any words of advice for maybe like the young men and women watching this that are still maybe haven't found that internal confidence in themselves to go out and kind of go against the grain when their parents are telling them to go the traditional route, go the 9 to 5, go the university?
Yeah. Bro, two things. First of all is this thing that we're talking about in the church about courage. Courage is taking action regardless of the fear. So even if you're afraid, what are my parents going to think? Oh, my friends are going to think I'm crazy. Courage is knowing all of that and being scared of it. We're human, we have feelings. And doing it regardless. So sometimes you just got to do it. You got to Nike it. You got to be Nike, You have to do it. You got to believe in yourself. You got to be your number one supporter. Because no one else is going to be.
You got to do it even when you don't feel like it, right? That's where the emotional discipline and belief comes in. It's like, you know what? I don't believe in myself, but I'm going to believe in myself. It's almost kind of unorthodox, right?
New identity.
Yeah. You got to create a new identity of someone that's successful, right? It's like, okay, why don't you write down a list of all the things that loser Parsa would do, right? Or loser Bridger would do. Okay. Doesn't believe in themselves, right? Doubts everyone and everything. Fearful.
But this thing you talk about, alter ego.
Yeah.
The billionaire closer or whatever you want your alter ego be. And what would that person do? What would Jesus do? What would that person do?
100%, right? And for people that are struggling to find that alter ego, right? Find that $1 billion closer version of themselves. There's a video that I've done on this, but it was basically, I was struggling with closing when I first started, when I was 20 years old. I was selling to successful 7-8 figure business owners. I myself never ran a successful 7-8 figure business, and I was selling them marketing coaching. Didn't understand. So I said, you know what? What would the ultimate closer be able to close all these deals do? And what would he embody? And then boom, I wrote down all the qualities. And then I put my cape on, which is my $1 billion closer suit, just like Batman. I put that thing on. I said, I am Bridger, the $1 billion closer. I read these affirmations out loud in the mirror.
Wow.
Yeah. And I would embody that, and boom, I went from $8,000 a month in commissions to $22,000 a month in commissions in just a couple of months.
Guys, see, this is the power of mentoring, because bro, this is exactly what I'm like dealing with. We're selling to successful entrepreneurs. I've never ran a good business. I'm like, oh, what gives me the authority to sell to this guy? But see, now I make that tweak and then I get to 10K.
Easily.
It's all about the mentorship, guys. Quick feedback. And this is the good thing about sales. It's not something that you see the result in like 10 years. You make a call, you get the feedback, you become better. So it's like...
Yep, you just constant growth, expert feedback loop, right? But yeah, you mentioned that mentorship, right? Like a lot of people, I think it's a forgotten art. I think mentorship is an art form, right?
Yeah.
Being able to be a good mentor and also be a good mentee. And I think you're an incredible mentee. So like, what are some of the mindsets, some of the things that you've embodied to become a successful mentee, and why is mentorship important nowadays?
Yeah. Bro, we were talking about history last night, and I had this story about Alexander the Great. He became at one point he conquered the world. He had 50% of the world at 20. And you know why? Because he was mentored by Marcus Aurelius. He couldn't done it on his own. All the successful people, bro, they all had mentors. All had mentors. It's like a cheat code.
100%.
It's like a cheat code.
Yeah, no, it is a cheat code, because they've already walked they've already walked the path that you want. So instead of you trying to like wander off and maybe fall off the cliff, just follow in their steps
and learn from their mistakes.
And learn from their mistakes.
Like you were saying, don't spend your money.
Yeah.
Don't buy $20,000 watches and stuff.
Yeah, don't go nuts, guys. I blew a lot of cash. Okay, I'm putting all the mistakes that I made inside of my program. And guys, you can get everything that I teach, right? That I've taught Parsa here to make $8,000 a month for $2.97 at the time of this video. Maybe goes up in the future, but right now, literally a quarter of a Chipotle. You and I were just at Chipotle for a single scoop of steak, a little bit of rice and beans, $12.10. You're telling me for $3, you could literally go scrape up $3 probably in between your couch.
Yeah.
Find it on the street. I can teach you a skill set to communicate at a very high level, be able to influence, persuade, where not only now you don't ever have to worry about making money again. It's a recession-proof skill because you're selling a product or service that has a dollar amount and you get a percentage commission of the dollar amount. If inflation goes up, the amount of the product goes up, your commission goes up in direct proportion to that because you have a percentage commission, right? You make 5%.
Yeah.
It's the best business model on the planet, and it's so bulletproof. Plus, like you said, Parsa, these skills translate to winning friends, influencing people, having a better network, right? Dating women, right? Building a brotherhood, higher status, right? It just is such a powerful skill. What else do you have, Dad?
Bro, another thing I want to add, other than the $3 course that you have, I would really encourage people to join the mentorship because they will join the brotherhood. Like, put aside the money and everything, but I found some good friends. That's really meaningful because, guys, at least this is how it was for me and some of the guys I talked to in the group. Sometimes to become your new identity, to become the $1 billion closer or whatever you want, your old identity, you have to kill that old identity. And with that old identity, you lose some friends, you lose some people you love some things you like doing. Maybe you like drinking every night. Isn't you a person that drinks every night? So you gotta put some things aside and it's gonna get lonely. And it's good to have some battle buddies. We actually practice together. We help each other. And there's this thing, like if you wanna go to the next level, you gotta help other people get your own place. So right now I'm trying to teach some guys to become sellers so I can become a closer. And like when they talk about steps of learning, you don't truly learn something until you teach it to someone. So when you're in the group, you're masterminding with other people, you role play with them, you give feedback to them. It's just such a powerful thing, dude.
Thanks for sharing that, man. I agree. And I think that's one of the things that I was lacking in my come up, right? I didn't really have a brotherhood. I hired a lot of coaches, a lot of mentors, but I kind of just bounced around between different coaches and mentors. And so I wanted to create something that I didn't really have when I was on the come up. And so I think it's going to help a lot of people avoid a lot of the pitfalls, right? Because if you have those old friends, those old identities start to come out of you. Those old traits that the friends kind of pull out of you, right? The Bible even talks about this, right? Bad company corrupts good character, right? So that means it doesn't matter how good of a person you are, how good of a character you are. Eventually you are who you hang out with. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Exactly.
Right?
Iron sharpens iron and brother sharpens another.
That's true, dude. That's another scripture, dude. Proverbs 27:17, bro. 100%. Yeah, man. Well, dude, what else would you want to share with somebody watching this that's still on the fence? Like, man, like everything sounds good, but I don't know if it's going to be like worth it.
Yeah. But I mean, we talked about the worth it part, but I would just like to encourage them to even shoot me a text, shoot Bridger a text, ask more questions. On the mastermind, they were talking about it. So first thing you got to do when you want to become the new you got to forgive your old self. Second thing is you got to commit. Third thing is you got to visualize and map out. And fourth thing is you got to seek information. So seek the right people. Right information, right people. So seek out the information. If you feel like you're not meant to work a 9 to 5, if you want to make more money, if you want to just become a better person, not even the money, better people around you. Just seek the information. You know, we might be able to help you. Bridger is going to help you. And I would love to give back. Like, I don't even work with you right now, but when I see some people text me, they're like, bro, what are you doing? I send them to you because you helped me. And I like to do what you did for me for other people. You know?
I love that, dude. Yeah, you're such a giver. And I think that's the key to life, right? There's a good book on this, Go Giver, right? I personally haven't, read it in depth, but I've skimmed, I understand the concept. Being a giver in life is so important, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why I love coaching and mentoring the next generation of men, right? Because I've had some good mentors in my life, right? Greg O'Gallagher, right? One of my first mentors. He really helped teach me a lot of things in life, right? He's added so much value to my life. And, because of that relationship that we built and that brotherhood we had, I was able to partner with him, right? And that resulted in millions of dollars in revenue and literally hundreds of lives transformed with fitness. So yeah, man, I'm excited. So what's next for Parsa? He's doing 8K a month as a setter. What does the next couple months look like?
10K by the end of Q2.
Okay.
That's the next thing.
Okay.
And then we have 2 more months, almost 2.5 months to get to 10K per month. And then 10K and then scale, bro. 15K.
10K a month, and then we scale from there.
And then we scale from there.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, 15K, 20K, 30K as a closer. And then once I've been closing for a while, once I learn everything, then I can even start flirting with the idea of running my own business, you know?
Right. That's the 4 steps that I teach in the program.
Exactly.
Right. So do you remember what the 4 steps are?
So to be honest, no.
You do remember them.
I don't want to mess it up.
Your step number 1.
So you work for someone, then you freelance, then you business owner, then you're investor, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Let me explain it to you guys a little more clearly. So that's basically it. The 4 steps are very simple. Okay. Parsa's doing it. Okay. He's at the level where he's unconsciously competent, right? He's competent. And he doesn't even know he's competent, but he's following the 4 steps. The 4 steps is step 1 is you must master the setting role, the ability to generate interest, transfer that to intent to buy. It's really important. Interest to intent. Someone's interested, they opt into an application, they buy a product or service. You're taking that interest, you're building a gap, right? You're building a gap, you're building rapport, you're getting connected with this person, figuring out what their pain is and how you can solve it, right? Hence the bridging the gap sales system that we teach in the Freedom Closer Academy. Mastering that, setting appointments, booking appointments, running your calendar, how to become highly efficient, focusing on money-making activities. And then step number 2 is stepping into a role of closing deals where you're taking intent and transferring that to action, getting people to take action and change their lives, right? Being able to handle objections, transfer certainty, paint pictures, tell stories, right? They talked about that over the weekend as well. Paint pictures, tell stories, right? And then from there, once you master closing deals, you're doing that for about 6 to 12 months, 18 months. Then you can take that skill set and become a leader, right? And you're already kind of becoming a mini leader in that, right? You're becoming a mini leader in that you're taking the skills you learned as a setter and giving back to the setter setting for you, right? You're creating a symbiotic relationship, which is what I did. And that's why I was able to, any company I came into, I immediately found the top setters. I recognized them, I rewarded them, and I built relationships with them. And that increased my sales immediately.
How did you reward them?
How did I reward them? I would send them gift cards. I'd praise them, right? There's actually a good book I have on my shelf on this, which is, it's the 5 love languages in the workplace.
5
in the workplace. In the workplace. So some people words of affirmation, some people gifts, some people quality time,
Basically,
some people acts of service.
For relationship, but in work.
It's the same principles, but you have to apply them differently. Otherwise, man, you can get some big trouble, man.
Wait, one of the love languages is like
physical touch.
Physical touch. How do you apply it in work?
Fist bumps, bro. Oh. Fist bumps, grab them on the shoulder. But it talks about how there's like different parts. Like I'm big into human psychology, right? Tap on the shoulder. Totally different than if you go up and grab someone's ass, right? Let's be real. Don't be grabbing no ass, okay?
What if they in the workplace?
I mean, dude, you may be in the wrong place, man. No, but no. In all seriousness, though, like I think it's really important to recognize people, right? I think even just like being heard, being seen, people don't feel seen and heard nowadays. And if you could just take a minute to make people feel seen and feel heard and connect with someone, you're already 10 steps ahead of the next person right behind you. So closer. Now the 3rd and 4th evolution is where it gets really exciting. And that's where your growth becomes exponential. Okay. As a setter, as a closer, you only have a limited amount of time that you can produce money-making activities. It is highly leverageable because you're not getting paid on time necessarily, you're getting paid on production or closed deals. But then here's where things get exciting. You go from addition to multiplication. And you do that by taking your skills and transferring them, not to just a couple setters, but to the entire team. And you become what's called a sales team leader. Sales team leader is what I stepped into when I became CEO of Kino Body Coaching, director of sales and operations.
And how do they get paid?
And they get paid a percentage override on the entire floor.
So 10% of the whole store.
Potentially. It depends on the deal that you have and whatnot.
What was the average in the, like, let's say marketing industry?
It depends, like, 2.5%, 3%, 5%, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. It starts to stack up.
Shit.
Yeah. So I knew guys that were doing that, right? That were my mentors that had a percentage of the company, the team, rev share, sales team leaders, $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 months.
A month.
Per month.
That's great.
They became millionaires in their 20s.
Let me add something here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some people don't even want to make that much money. Like some people They're crazy like us. They want to make as much as money they can. But some people, they want to live that chill James Bond lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like even summertime, bro. Like summer's coming up. I'm thinking like, okay, I get to 10K. I travel to Europe. I'll chill there for a month or two. This is what being a closer and seller lets you do.
100%.
You have the location freedom, time freedom. Like I'm traveling right now. And I just
You're
paid
still
for
making money. Didn't you have a deal closed today?
Bro, we made
deals.
2K today and yesterday, like
Wow.
combined. So
2K.
my trip basically paid for. I didn't have to go to any office. I actually went to the office here, but
For
I liked
fun
it.
though, yeah.
For fun though.
Yeah, you can do it anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Scottsdale, Europe,
We can go to London tomorrow and we've both been making money.
just printing cash.
Printing
The
cash.
James Bond lifestyle.
James Bond lifestyle.
And the cool thing about this, the reason why it's truly a James Bond lifestyle as a freedom closer is when you finish at the end of the day, you don't have to think about client fulfillment. You don't have to think about running the business, operations,
Exactly.
finance, legal, HR.
And even before you start the day, you don't have to worry about getting the clients. It's like,
Yeah, you don't have to worry
it's
about any
You don't have
marketing.
to worry about marketing and fulfillment, sales. Just like James Bond, bro. You come in, get the job done, get into your Aston Martin with a baddie and you go.
Let's go, bro. Fire, bro.
Sales help you with that too,
Yeah, 100%. Sales will
yeah.
help you with that. Yeah, dude. So yeah, well, I mean, to finish it off, everyone's kind of probably wondering what the fourth evolution is, right? Sales team leader. The last evolution is business owner. This is where people try to start and why they fail. Because research shows it takes about 10 skills to successfully start, scale, and operate a business. Not even scale, just operate a successful business.
Yeah.
You need 10 different skills. And I could name, a handful of skills right off the bat. You're going to need management skills, leadership skills, marketing skills, sales skills, operational skills,
Finance.
basic finance skills. I mean, I could go on and on. Tech skills. I mean, there's so many things that go into
many.
it. You don't have to worry about any of that, right? You clock in, you clock out, you make your money, and you go.
On your own schedule.
Your own schedule, 100%. The only time it would make sense to become a business owner is if you've maxed out your skills, you've maxed out your money after years, right? I started, really closing deals when I was like, intermediately like 17, 18, closing lower ticket deals, $500 deals, $1,000 deals, fitness programs, different stuff. And then eventually like sold from a buddy who had a dating program, $1,200 offer, sold a lot of stuff. And then maxed out high ticket from 20 to 22, right? To about 2 years. Then I became a sales team leader. And then now I'm finally a business owner, right? I own my own business. I'm operating my own
Went
business.
through the whole evolution. Bro,
the whole
Bradley was
evolution.
talking about it. You don't jump to the next level. You max out the level you're at, then you enter the next level, and then you're at the bottom. Then you max that out.
Yeah, dude, 100%. A lot of people are wondering, Bridger, why can't I get to the next level? Why can't I get to the next level? I'm trying to get to the next level. Dude, you haven't even maxed out the level you're at, right? And that's actually biblical, right? I actually got to meet him at 10X, right? I was at 10X Growth Con a couple weeks ago, Miami, right? Tons of cool people, ballers there. We had Michael Chandler, dude, freaking all kinds of cool people. But someone that really stood out to me, I got to meet, was Tim Story. There's a reel that totally changed my life, little short. And it was when he was getting interviewed by Ed Milet. And he talked about a proverb written by the wealthiest man to ever exist, King Solomon. And it says in this proverb that he who works his land will have abundant food, but he who chases fantasies lacks judgment, right? Lacks wisdom. And he says, it's simple. It's a promise from God. That's a biblical promise from God that if you show up and you work the land in front of you, a lot of people aren't working their land. Well, you might ask, what's your land, right? Because we don't actually physically own any land. I don't own any land, right? I'm renting this place, right? Your land starts off with your heart, your mind, your soul. That's why with my B5 success system, I'm focused on my belief first, my belief in God, my belief in Jesus, my beliefs in my identity, right? What am I believing for, right? Building that up first. That's my land. I'm working my heart, my soul, my mind. Then number two, my body, right? That's the second B, my body, right? Working my land, actually maxing out my body, my physical capacity. Then my business. Well, what's your business? Well, if you look at the word business, this is where it really gets exciting as a freedom closer, is you are a business. Business is literally a definition. I'll pull it up literally right now. I pulled it up earlier today. The practice of making one's living by engaging in commerce. Now you might ask, what's commerce? 100%. What's commerce? Commerce is the activity of buying and selling products or services. So you tell me that as a freedom closer, you aren't a business. You are a business, and even the IRS recognizes you as a business. People are just starting the wrong business. See, you can form an LLC, okay? You can literally own your own business. You can fill out your tax forms with the business owner that you're closing for, and you can be a 1099 contractor, means that you can't be told what to do legally. They can't tell you what time to show up. They can't tell you what time to leave. Otherwise, they'd have to make you a W-2 employee.
And you also get lots of tax write-off benefits. Like if I was making 8K as an doctor, I was paying like lots of taxes in Canada, in Vancouver.
50%, 60%
But I
taxes.
can write off my car, my flight to here, everything.
Yeah, you write off your part of your apartment, right? Depending on the certain tax codes, you write off your whole thing. Yeah, depending on it, right? Depends on your accountant and your tax laws and all that. But the crazy thing is that you are a business, right? And so a lot of people are like, well, I don't really have any land to work. How you spend your time is a business, right? And Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? He talks about the 4 quadrants, right? Do you know what the 4 quadrants are in Rich Dad, Poor Dad? So in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he talks about there's 4 quadrants. Okay, the first quadrant is employed. Okay, W-2 employed.
That was what I said.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly. You said it earlier. W-2 employed. Then you've got self-employed, which was what you evolved to in the becoming a freedom closer, right? You're 1099 contractor, you're self-employed. Then you become a business owner. That means that you have a system that makes money regardless of if you show up or not.
Both. And some people that identify as business owners, they're actually self-employed.
100%. Yeah, because that's exactly right. The definition of a business owner, right, should be an entity that produces revenue regardless if I put time, money, or energy in. And to actually get a successful business operating takes a lot of time, money, and energy. So business owner. And then lastly, investor. You can still, even if you don't have money, you can still be an investor because you can invest your time, you can invest your energy, and what little capital you do have, you should be investing again
in yourself.
So I say all of that to conclude that, are you working your land? Are you maxing out your time? Are you maxing out your energy? Because how are you supposed to get to the next level if you don't max out the level? Because the reality is if you max out the current level you're at, you end up at the bottom of the next level. And then you start at the bottom again, you go again, right? I'm at the bottom of the level as a business owner, right? So that's why it's such an exciting journey. It just makes sense, right? You see all these successful business owners, right? I was actually trying to figure out what the heck I was supposed to do because I was kind of trying to start my own business too early when I was 19, was struggling. And I started doing research. What the hell should I do? Should I go do door-to-door sales? Or I thought about it. I think I signed an agreement too. I just backed out. I was going to go do door-to-door sales, sell pest control. But then I didn't like what I would have to do. 10, 12-hour days in the heat, knocking doors. You lose your entire lifestyle. You can't live a James Bond lifestyle as a door-to-door salesperson. For 3 to 5 months out of the year, you are not living a James Bond lifestyle, right? As a freedom closer, you can live that lifestyle 24/7, 365, which is the best part about it. Now, what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought.
So you were saying when you were 19?
Oh yeah, 19. Oh yeah. So skipping steps, right? So I'm sitting there and my business is kind of struggling. I'm trying to start this fitness business. I'm like, I don't really know any marketing skills. I'm running out of leads. I had a couple 10K months, whatever, closing deals, but I didn't have any leads. So then I looked up because I want to study the top. I want to study the best. And I looked up, how did billionaires get their start? In their 20s, 9 out of 10 billionaires all started in sales.
Oh yeah.
Every single one of those 9 out of 10 started in sales and eventually transferred those skills and started skill stacking, which I actually had Cole Gordon on my podcast, one of my closest friends and mentors. And that's what he said has allowed him to literally generate close to 100 million online and has a $50 million a year company, right? Is because he started skill stacking, right? He became a high ticket closer. Then he learned marketing. Then he learned operations, fulfillment, client success, and started scaling. So yeah, man, it's just such a cool journey, dude. It's such a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Have any other thoughts?
No, bro, I just want to thank you. I'm super grateful that I found you, that I signed up, that I became friends with you, and everything you have done for me. And yeah, I think everything that needs to be said was said, and people just need to take action though.
Yeah, they need to take action, get off the couch, get off the video games, get off the OnlyFans, get off the Instagram Reels.
Pish posh.
It's pish posh. Yeah. So Parsa, how did you know it was the right time?
Bro, It wasn't the right time. I wish I started like 5 years earlier. But seriously, bro, imagine if I started when I was like 16, if 15, dude.
Where do you think you'd be if you started 5 years ago?
Oh, at least I would be making like 50 grand a month.
Easily.
Seriously.
Stacked a couple $100,000 in the bank, living a crazy lifestyle. 100%.
Bro, I saw this dude join our brotherhood like last week. He's 18. And I told you, I'm like, bro, I'm so jealous, bro. I wish I started when I was 18. So, but like they say, the best time to plan a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is now. So I just knew, bro, you got, you know?
You just got to take action.
Yeah, it's not going to get, and nothing's going to change with time, you know?
Yeah, nothing's going to change
get
with time.
older.
What about people that say, well, you know, dude, I got like a lot on my plate. Like I got a job. I'm taking college classes. Like I got this, got that. What do you have to say to those people?
Then it's not a priority for them. Maybe they're happy where they're at. You know?
You hear that, guys? If you're happy where you're at, being a broke boy,
Broke boys.
then don't take action, right? It's simple. Let everyone else, let the James Bond closers of the world,
Let us have it all.
let us have it all.
More money for us.
You know what they say? They say the top 20% of men get 80% of the women, 80-20 rule, right? And the top 1% get 99%, right? And the 99% are left with 1% and they're fighting for the scraps. So don't be a 99%er, be a 1%er. And if you want to learn how, then the first link in the description, you can go grab my Freedom Closer Blueprint. It teaches you everything step by step, exactly how to do exactly what myself and Parsa did to start making 6 figures per year remotely as a Freedom Closer. I am Bridger Rogers. This is Bridging the Gap. Make sure you subscribe and share this with someone that needs to hear this message. Till next time, guys.
Bye.
Boom.